It's episode 2 of this session featuring vlogger Matt Vaughan, who is failing to vlog so far, it seems.
Yep.
No camera there.
He did snatch a queen on the river in last episode where he's up against the nuts. That's Zach Elwood's set of 10s there, and he ended up winning, making a higher set when they were all in on the flop.
But
Anyway.
Mr. Watermelon there on the button is going to be just fine because he just flopped the nuts against Digital Dan and got bluffed into and doubled up. So he's back to being slightly positive. Meanwhile, we have a hand developing here with Joseph with the ace-4 suited under the gun.
Destroyer of Worlds getting a little frisky with the 8-6 suited in the hijack.
I believe it was a blind raise under the gun by Joseph, as they have been doing.
Of course. Not so frisky. But now Joseph looks like he's getting frisky.
I mean, ace-4 suited is a great 3-betting hand.
And
I guess it's technically a 4-bet, but really it's a 3-bet.
This is pretty great, though, and it's... Well, I guess Brewer can decide to call.
It's big enough that I think Brewer might just fold.
I think he probably will. He's going to be out of position. It's going to be hard. I don't know what Ken's thinking about except, you know, the effing Mirage there because it's just all Hollywood, baby.
Brewer's either got to be a superhero or set mine here, and set mining is not really great with the price he's getting.
I don't think he can profitably set mine.
It looks like he's going to be a hero. He's not doing this just to set mine. He believes Joseph has moves here, and he's
right.
There are some favorable flops for eights. He can flop gut shots. He can flop an overpair that can get him in a lot of trouble, but he'll then trust his reads.
Yeah, he has to be willing to sometimes hold on with just an unimproved pocket eight.
Such as this board. This is a board where you got to hold on.
You figure, actually, the most year of Joseph, even if Joseph had aces, he's probably going to bet this once on flop and turn.
Because he'd be afraid of hands like Jack-10 suited.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, one bet, sure. I expect Brewer will call once, though.
Brewer has a lot of pairs as played pre-flop.
Yes, he does. More so than the Jack-10 suited of the world, really.
Yes. He does have 7s full in his range.
Sure.
He has quad 10s in his range, although that's quite a rarity.
So this is kind of what we thought would happen. So now it'd be interesting to see what happens, not on a brick river, which I would expect is going to go check. Sorry, yeah, a turn. But like a paint turn would be interesting. We got a brick,
though. That's a pretty bricky card. I think a brick is pretty interesting, too, honestly.
Well, I'm expecting Joseph will check because of the paired nature of the board. Let's see if he does.
Yeah, not only does Brewer have some 10s in his range, he probably also would not believe that Joseph would bet an overpair twice, making it less likely to get a bluff through for Joseph here.
Right. I like this check back by Joseph because of that.
And that's another super brick. Brewer probably feels pretty comfortable here.
Well, if Brewer checks, though, Joseph can now bet and have all the overpairs back in his range.
It's a must check for Brewer here.
Yeah, of course. I'm just saying Joseph now could decide to bluff.
He just gives it up.
Yeah.
And that's a good feeling for Brewer. When Joseph bets, sometimes he does have queens there, but Brewer's probably going to call anyway.
I mean, Joseph is going to play kings as bet, check, bet most of the time on that board, right?
Absolutely.
So that's the problem with Brewer's, where Joseph could then decide to bluff. I actually like Joseph checking the turn, and he can decide to bluff the river or not.
I think Brewer was calling, though. Joseph has a bit too much air there to make it profitable to fold with 2-8s there, I think.
I don't know. When he actually bets the river, I don't know how much air he has or not. Anyway, nice hand.
Yeah.
I like what both players did there.
First hand of the session, or the episode last time, Brewer lost about a 1K pot, and this time he gets to win about a 1K pot.
So, even Steven.
That's proof of balance in the universe, if anything is.
It's like the Thanos snap. All right, Matt Vaughan has raised blind under the gun. He can see. Let me, just to clarify.
I think they have...
those peepers work.
I think they have agreed to a round of the blind raise to 20.
Yeah, I think you're right. So... that means we'd expect Elwood to probably bring in a re-raise. Looks like he has.
Elwood needs to learn how to put the chips in front of him so we can see them on the camera.
Keep him in the camera view, please. Start with the Jack-10 and the button. I think it's just a little too good. Love that position. It's going to clear out the riffraff. Matt Vaughan probably supposed to call here for only $40.
Absolutely.
No.
And it turns out he's in reasonable shape with that 15% equity.
And everybody's pretty deep, so it's not a bad spot at all.
Yeah. And everyone, there's something going on here. Store top pair, Elwood with overs in the gutter.
This is you could check or bet here as Elwood.
Yeah. I think a bet is pretty reasonable, although the board does hit his opponent's ranges. Store definitely going to bet.
I think you can't really fold. 125 is kind of big into 195, actually.
It is, but you have overs and the draw to the nuts. You can't just throw it away for one.
It would be
bet.
nice to have one heart, you know?
Of course. I do agree. And Matt Vaughan's going to call. Wow.
Now that Vaughan calls, I think we should call. Even if we only have 3 clean outs, it's kind of a beautiful spot if we get there.
Yep. And, a king or queen is going to be good some of the time also. Like, it turns out that is good. Now,
It
we
wouldn't
can't
feel
know
that good.
No, we wouldn't know where we are.
Because all of the draws that were relevant got there.
But when it checks through on the turn, like it's probably going to, you would start to feel good again as Elle would, right? Let's see if Stuart actually does check.
Oh, he can't profitably bet here, and I think he knows that.
Yeah.
But he might just be thinking about that Mustang he met on the Dude Ranch. Sadie?
That Mustang? That's
Yeah.
a horse?
Yeah.
What? Okay.
You don't know what a
He's
Mustang
thinking
is?
it's weird to say you met a horse. But anyway, here's Matt Vaughan, and is he going to turn his hand into a bluff?
Do you not meet
or not?
animals?
You don't.
What happens then?
Animals are sort of there. You don't meet them. Okay. So Matt Vaughan,
I feel like that's an unpopular opinion and you're wrong.
I've
I've met many animals.
okay, PETA.
I mean, have you not met? What do you call it when you like go into a house and there's a cat that you've never seen before and
Yeah.
it's there and you pet it? What is that?
That's a greeting. All right, so Stuart just checks it back and wins. He's got to be thrilled to win based on that run out.
For a smart guy, it's shocking how wrong you are about so many things.
Yes, it is.
There is that 20, so looks like Isan has joined the party.
Now, if you're wondering why is this a blind raise and not a straddle, that's because I know this is crazy, but there's some weird poker rules in Portland. You're not allowed to straddle. It's against the law, basically, to straddle, so they don't do it.
Effectively, but we make up for it by having literally no rake in cash games.
Oh, yeah, it's all good. And, if everyone's willing to blind raise, and a lot of people are, a lot of the time, Stuart is most of the time, it's basically a straddle anyway. It's better than a straddle if you're not the guy doing it.
Well, obviously.
I don't know if it's obvious.
Oh, it looked like Brewer wanted to do something with the 7-2 suited, but then decided, I'm not a vlogger. Nobody cares.
Right. I mean, I don't know if nobody cares, but he's not a vlogger. Some people may care about his welfare. Isan going to call with the ace high.
What about his welfare? What are you talking about his welfare?
I said nobody cares. I'm saying some
about
people
if
probably
you,
care about
if
him.
he 3-bet 7
He
deuce.
has
Not about his
family. Hey, open ender for Isan.
pretty nightmarish flop for Stewart here against the guy who did the blind raise and called.
So it's going to continue. I guess he just thinks Isan's got a lot of overcards.
I mean, that's reasonable. From a range perspective, this is probably a check, but
Yeah.
also with king high, we'd really like just to take the pot down right now.
Yep, king high, no back doors of any kind. He's just going to take a shot here. Isan definitely not going to fold. Let's see what he does.
I think I prefer a raise because Isan has all of the 2-pair combos and sets in his range.
Wow, it's just like that.
Miracle card.
The equity shifts pretty dramatically there.
Stewart could check or bet here.
I like a bet a lot here.
I do as well. I think that Isan's going to be forced to call with a lot of pair and gut shot type hands.
Also, Stuart would be bluffing this card. So
Yep.
when he gets there with it, I think he's supposed to bet it
Right.
as well.
Right. If Stewart had queen jack here, he would be bluffing this card.
For sure. He's got ace 10. He's going to bet this card.
Now, Isan doesn't really have a ton of showdown value. He has a little bit. I guess Stewart has some like
Queen highs.
queen highs, but it's not ideal.
No. But he is open-ended. He is getting an okay price. Got to believe your ace is good. For you
He
to
could
be able to
also
just
bluff.
flat here.
He could also bluff diamonds because he has the ace of
Oh,
diamonds.
that's a great point. Actually, the ace of diamonds makes it much easier to call because he can just donk out on diamonds. He's going to call. I expect Stuart, if this is anything but an improving card for somebody, it's going to go check.
It's a 4, so this has to go check now pretty
Yeah,
much.
there's no way Stuart's going to bet this, right? He's going to...
I mean, I guess he could put Isan on like 6-9 suited and decide to go for value, but it's hard to get called by a hand like that.
So hard to get called. I think this is a pretty clear check. Stuart's thinking about it, though. Can he extract value? He does check.
It looked like he lost the way he checked. He's like, this
Yeah.
is I lose check, but it's more of a I'm not going for value check.
Well, sometimes he loses. Oftentimes when he bets, he's not just going to throw his worst hand away. So, good job, Stuart.
Yep.
Stuart both times having to check back the river. Last hand he had to check back the turn as well. But probably all the value he could really get from those hands. So, what are you going to do?
You're going to check back
Just check it right back.
with the best hand. I mean, it seems foolish.
If you know you have the best hand, you should always bet.
Yeah, with the-
100%. And never fold. If you
Obviously,
know you
if
have the best hand, you should never fold.
I mean, if you know you have the best hand, that's
Right.
good advice.
Thank you. Also win as many pots as possible. That's more valuable than how many chips you win.
Jonathan has all the smarts.
Yeah. Here's Ken, Destroyer of Worlds, with the blind raise.
Not a good hand for the blind raise this time.
But in fairness to Ken, he didn't know what the hand was.
That's true. Elwood has a good hand.
Yes, he does.
Raise to 60.
It's going to make it 60.
It's been the standard 3-bet over the blind raise.
We did see a 75 from Matt Vaughan one time, the first time it
Yes, we
happened.
did.
Oh, and Isan has kings.
Well, hello,
It's going to be like, read this, Elwood, tells guy.
well, I mean, Elwood might be able to if Isan gives it away. Let's see if Isan keeps his face covered like that.
I mean, he keeps his face covered, and he's not going to talk, and Elwood's all about the verbal tells. Might be hard.
It just might be.
The question for Elwood becomes to 4-bet or to call. Ken, for some reason, is thinking.
He maybe didn't realize it was on him.
Maybe.
So, yeah, definitely some people will 4-bet, or technically 5-bet, but it's really a 4-bet.
It's effectively a 4-bet.
Well, the problem, of course, with 4-betting queens here is you are kind of committing. It's going to be hard to 4-bet fold. If you make it like 600.
Well, it's only 190 from Isan, so he could make it something like 450, or he's in position at least.
Yeah. I think I like a call here being in position more than not, especially with queens, where oftentimes the hands, when we actually put in another bet, are we going to sort of eliminate them down to either hands that are set mining against us, ace, king, and the aces and kings that are beating us.
Yeah, I agree. Looks like he's reaching for those black chips,
Yeah.
which are worth 100.
Let's see if he really does anything with them, though.
We haven't seen him do any box yet, so I think he's going to. He looks like
You're right.
500 or 550.
A little more. So that's a legit 3-bet.
4-bet to
Yep.
550. Isan's now wondering, should I 5-bet or should I just call? I think probably the typical good player in this spot is going to just call.
The question is, and I don't know what the answer is Elwood going with queens? Like, I know he just made a 550. If Isan were to shove, looks like he is pulling out calling chips there. But if Elwood were to shove, Isan were to shove with his kings, would Elwood actually call with the queens, or would he get away from it?
I think he might fold.
So if that's true,
This
if
is
we
a
think
good
there's
play.
a chance, then really calling is the play.
Right.
There is a fair amount in the pot. That's the reason to just go.
But then it doesn't matter where your hand is, right?
Yes, if he's going to fold queens, it doesn't matter. Anyway, this is sort of a nightmare flop for Elwood. I got to believe he's going to bet for value here.
He's got to hate the flop because
Yeah.
Isan does have a set of jacks in his range now, and
For
he
sure.
certainly could have kings or aces as played pre-flop also. He might even have a set of 9s in his range, although that's less likely.
Yep. He can also have 10s. He can have ace, king.
Yeah, this is a must bet, and he bets
It's
tiny.
super small. I think he's just trying to either fold out or charge the ace, kings of the world.
Right, which is a reasonable thing
Yeah,
to do.
so this sizing is pretty good for that. Like, what's ace, king supposed to do when he bets 250?
He's also getting called by 10s for sure because that is
Yes.
a gut shot. So actually, it's kind of beautiful sizing
Yeah.
for all those reasons.
And in his mind, maybe he's just committed to the pot if he gets check raised. I'm not sure if he is.
I don't know if you have to be committed. I mean, what is Isan check raising with? Maybe he could turn 10s into a bluff because he's got the additional gut shot outs.
And that jack does really hit Isan and not Elwood anymore. Elwood almost never is going to be 4-betting with jacks. Almost
You wouldn't
never.
think.
Isan hasn't been 3-betting a lot or anything. Isan clearly not going to fold. How could he? He knows he could be up against jacks. He could be up against aces, but
I think Isan was planning on check shoving a lot of clean flops like this, but then the sizing was so small that it felt like a bit of a game theory disaster to check shove.
I'm not sure if it is or not, but it might be. Another bricky card.
Complete brick.
There should be more value to be had for Isan at some point in this hand. I don't know if it's going to be on the turn.
He's got just under a pot remaining.
They can really get it in right now if Elwood wants to.
I don't think Elwood should want to because
No.
I think Isan folds 10s now if Elwood puts in
I
a
agree.
sizable bet.
I agree. No, I agree completely. I think he can bet again if he wants to again continue to charge, sort of fold out the ace king if that somehow decided to call, or charge
He
the
bets
tens.
tiny again, so I guess
Interesting.
that must be his intention. I
Yeah.
mean, if he's going to bet, I like sizing it small so at least you can get action from worse hands.
I would guess if he gets called again, he's depending if it's another brick on the river, he's probably checking it back. Probably. I mean, Isan can't fold, right?
No.
There's just no folding here, even though, yes, you're losing to jacks. Yes, you're losing to aces.
I mean, it's such an incredible price, and we have kings.
Yeah. It could be up against the other two kings once in a while, of course, as well. And maybe Elwood could be bluffing once in a while, too. Maybe you could have ace king be bluffing, although that is something you block.
This pot
as
got
Isan.
big, and that's another brick.
Yeah, that's a pretty safe card. No one has pocket sixes, you wouldn't think. Isan's got less than half the pot left. He's got like 40% of a pot here.
Let's see if Elwood tries to get anything off of him here.
Elwood uncaps his cards.
Play kings like this?
Shows queens.
Good read. He said you play kings like this?
Yeah.
And then Isan turns over kings.
I mean, kings makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You think jacks would often have shown up somewhere, would have shown their teeth at some point along the way.
Yep.
Tens probably fold the turn. Maybe they hold on once in a while because it's so cheap.
I think they have to hold on with
Okay.
additional outs.
So you're hoping he has tens.
Yeah.
That's really all you can beat, right?
Yep. Or the other two queens, and you chop.
Yeah.
That's possible.
So you could go all in to bluff out the other two. Anyway, nice hand for Isan.
I wonder what Isan does if Elwood shoves the river. I wonder if he has a tank or just snaps it.
I think he's got a call. He's got 40% of a pot.
Elwood's effectively just repping aces then.
Yeah.
I might have. I didn't think you had a bigger pair, but
Oops.
but you might have been wrong. I thought ace king was much more likely, but then I would lose some money.
Brewer's going to open up the range a little bit here with the queen seven of diamonds.
Calls.
Vaughan and Isan getting in there with reasonable hands. I assume Isan's getting in there.
There's no way he's going to fold
Yeah.
pocket threes, right? It's just a question of is he going to call or re-raise?
Calls. Fold.
Digital Dan's not going to fold the ace-8 suited, I'll tell you what.
That would be a bad decision.
That would be not digital. That's the thing he says now when he doesn't like stuff.
That banana was not digital.
Yeah.
It had
It was
too
like-
many bruises.
Exactly. All right, lots of possibilities here.
Speaking of
Ooh.
possibilities, we have bottom set, an open ender, and a flush draw. This
Wow.
is an action flop.
Yes, indeed.
Isan with the majority of the equity, and Brewer with the second most.
Yeah.
That's one.
Going to continue.
Matt Vaughan also with the backdoor club draw. Could be a little sneaky.
Matt Vaughan
Obviously
cannot
can't-
fold to
no
one
way.
bet here.
That would be absurd.
But Isan is likely to raise on this wet board with bottom set.
Yeah, I don't see how you cannot raise it up here.
The question is, what sizing is good? Pot's now 500. Do you think you should make it something like 475 over the 125?
I think so. I like a full pot here
Yeah.
as a bet. That's a super wet board, and Matt Vaughan just called. Like, once in a while, Matt Vaughan has Jack 10 and Brewer has Ace King, and they just fold. But
Yeah, but
so often, someone has diamonds or the Queen
or
10.
an overpair.
Yep.
It's such a good spot to raise because there's so many draws that you could have as Isan. You could either
Yes.
have draws or sets or Jack 9 suited.
Yeah.
So it's great to. It's like you're automatically balanced.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Yeah. Isan could raise a hand like King Queen if he wanted to, even, right?
He could maybe like King Queen with the King of Diamonds just to
Yeah.
kind of, and he makes it 400, a little smaller than we suggested, but it's still a perfectly fine thing to do.
No way Brewer can fold for this price. Look at the pot's already got 900 in it.
I don't think he can effective or profitably re-raise though, because Isan, sure, maybe he has King Queen with the King of Diamonds in his range a little bit, but Brewer blocks that obviously. I think calling is the best play. I think Isan's pretty strong most of the time, or he has a hand that he's never folding.
Also, by calling, you get to engineer Matt Vaughan often coming in. It depends on what he has. But in this case, Matt Vaughan, I got to think, is going to feel obligated to call, too. He's not going to like it.
Maybe he wouldn't if he didn't have the backdoor flush draw.
Yeah, I
but
think that's important.
there are
here.
some really, really nice cards for Matt on the turn that
Sure.
are just like clubs.
King of clubs would be pretty good.
Well, that would be an all right one.
Yeah.
Isan-
Any club is good. Any 8, any king that isn't a diamond is
And
good.
somehow Isan dodges all the bullets.
That's pretty nice.
He's probably just going to bet and win, right?
Well, it's
Now-
all about sizing now. Also, these guys who have their draws have to decide to, not make a play at the pot.
I don't imagine anybody's making a play when Isan takes this line into 3 opponents.
Well, 2 opponents, but yeah.
Well, Dan was there too when he
Okay.
made the
fair
raise.
enough. Fair enough. So how do you want to size this as Isan? 1.5 in the middle.
I think we want to make it barely not profitable for flush draws to call.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're getting action from combo draws no matter what. We want to keep
Yeah.
combo draws in there. So something like 850.
Yeah, you got a bit more than half the pot at a minimum. It's a cash game. You could bet even more if you wanted. I would think you'd want to make sure you're setting up an easy shove on the river, assuming a brick comes.
It looks like he's going a little smaller. Oh, no, he's bringing out
yeah.
a stack of the greens
First,
there.
it looked like he was betting 400 again, which would be not enough.
Looks like maybe 1,000 or 900.
I think it's 900. I think it was $400 chips on top of the.
950.
that stack of
950,
green.
I think.
Oh, okay.
Our dealer has announced. Yeah.
There we go.
I don't think Brewer can continue now, and
No.
Matt Vaughan certainly cannot either. So without Showdown, Isan gets to win a pretty nice
one.
pot.
He shows it too.
Okay, so with Showdown. And that brings him to his biggest winner. Just over 14K in the pot. The turn is the 4 of diamonds.
Hey, what is that? Speaking of turn, coming around the mountain, is
Oh.
that the Nitrogen Sports Poker Train?
I think they did buy a train recently.
If you listen, you can hear its very familiar jingle and choo-choo. Wait, there's the jingle. Nitro, 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 nitro.
Wow, that's the weirdest ad ever all of a sudden. Anyway, Nitrogen Sports Poker Room is, they let us do ads like this.
They
perhaps
do.
because they don't listen to them.
Free reign, baby. Nitro, 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 nitro. That ad never gets old.
No.
I mean, I'm going to
It
watch
gets,
that forever.
it gets younger, actually.
It's like Benjamin Button, but
Yeah.
for commercials.
Starting right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Looks like the blind 20 is still on. Elwood doing it with the 4-3 suited.
Just this blind 20 was like.
Technically, you could do a. Are
you could do blind 30,
Are you
right?
allowed to
Yeah.
do a blind
Oh,
15?
you can do a blind 30? Yeah.
Well,
Blind 30,
Mid-raise.
40.
Joseph's
You could do 20.
going to play this hand.
Stuart's just itching to gamble. He's asking if we can do blind 50. Of course you can, Stuart.
Yeah, it's blind whatever you want, buddy.
Do whatever you want, man. Gamble it up.
Live your life. Isan just folds the king queen now.
King Jack, I think it was.
Sorry, king jack. You're right.
Healthy raise.
Strange fold, kind of.
A little
but
surprised.
I don't
And
know.
Elwood folds the 4-3 suited.
First pair.
Well, Elwood surprised us with his tightness before. Isan
Yeah.
hasn't really yet done anything like that.
Yeah. Elwood also, I mean, it is 4-3 suited. You are out of position. I mean, that's...
Come
that's-
on, you're calling.
No, of course. Of course I'm calling.
Of course you're calling.
100%. I'm just saying, suited connectors don't play super well
So we're back to discretion.
out of position. They play much better in position. But yeah, of course I'm calling.
all right, talk me into it.
You get to check raise when you're out of position.
Just as a reminder.
That's true. And also you get the first bluffing opportunity, which is super sweet. So
That's
Stuart,
what cool people say at the poker table.
of course, Gus Hansen started that.
I don't hate it when people say that at all.
Yeah,
Not-
I know.
not even
Why
a
would you
little
hate it?
bit.
So anyway, Stuart continues the blind raising. Looks like they finished
Looks
the
like
round
Stuart's
and Stuart
got-
decided just to do it anyway.
Looks like Stuart's got 2 flush draws. Are we gonna do stuff like that? First bluffing opportunity, 2 flush draws. Meh. That stuff.
wow, you're
Yeah.
fun to be in the booth with.
Yeah.
and that's true.
That's why I get the big
True
bucks.
fact. Stuart's gonna call this one. He's connected. He's got reasonable cards. He's gonna
No.
fold it. Everyone's folding so much.
I guess they want us to have a boring show. Thanks, guys.
Matt Vaughan, do something. You're a vlogger.
He doesn't even have a camera. This guy's a fraud. I'm not sure if that YouTube channel is real or if it's just he made a website that makes it look like he has a YouTube channel.
If you guys want to see Matt Vaughan, he will be vlogging about this session, and it will be on his channel, which is called, cleverly enough, Matt Vaughan.
Yeah, it's a good channel name.
Yeah, it's, we took some time when we came with the poker guys, but hey, Matt Vaughan apparently just went with, his God-given name.
Well, that just speaks volumes, that question. Not really. But.
Well, Joseph is going to open it up with or just limp, I guess. No, he raises 25. It looks like the blind raise is
Yeah.
off, and he makes it a very small raise.
Very small.
It's a tournament sizing, and it looks like Matt is going to jump on it and
Yeah.
3 bets.
I like it.
And Isan now in a weird spot with 2 8s.
He's got 4.2K in front of him. The other guys have over $2,000. This is a pretty straightforward call.
It just sucks if Joseph then re-raises again.
Yep.
That's a problem, and that's probably what Isan's thinking
Yeah.
about when he folds there. Ken, though,
Get it in, baby.
Ken doesn't give a crap about your re-raise.
Well, he has the best hand, unless Stuart sticks around.
Yeah, and they're sharing spades.
Ken knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Ken's got a laser read on these dudes.
He's going to consume the worlds
Yeah, one at a time.
unless he's extra hungry.
Yeah, then all at once.
Cross.
But then you regret it, You're like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten so many worlds.
But it was so good.
You were gonna hear about it.
3 to the flop.
Well, there's a set.
No.
No, it's a
It
pair
would
of-
have. It would have been a set for Isan.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah,
It
Maybe
is
something like that.
It is a
was
pretty
up.
good flop for Joseph, though, who flops
Yeah.
a pair and a gut shot
It is pretty good. Nothing else for anyone.
and a backdoor straight flush draw.
Matt Vaughan deciding to go ahead and fire.
I don't
about
know.
this one.
Man, I don't know about this one.
not a great board.
It's a little bit.
This is a little questionable.
Yeah.
Matt Vaughan. I'm not going to use the word spewy because I don't like to say it.
No,
This
you
is-
wouldn't.
this
You
bet-
wouldn't. You wouldn't say that.
This bet feels a little out of bounds. This bet
Yeah.
feels a little optimistic. A little, like if you saw it walking down the street, like, that's an adorable little bet, you know?
No, you
You'd be a
wouldn't.
little patronizing towards it.
It seems like you.
Whoa! The Destroyer of Worlds calls!
What the hell just happened?
He has the best hand and he
All right,
knows it.
so this call is terrible. I just have to say that.
I mean, he's obviously planning on making a play.
yeah, I don't care.
Matt Vaughan 3-bet, he's ranging him in a particular way. He's going to make a play. It's not going to work because, well, I assume it's not going to work.
I mean,
Joseph's not going to
at
fold,
least,
right?
At least if he had ace three of spades, he'd have the backdoor nut flush draw. But
He's-
this is just so optimistic.
He clearly is planning on making a play down the road. Let's see. Well,
Oh,
we're
Joseph's not going to let any of that happen.
Joseph is now with the best hand, but he doesn't know it. He thinks he's making a play.
I mean,
Matt
he's
Vaughan-
kind of like making a play with equity, type of thing.
Yeah. Turns out he had the best hand, though.
That worked out well for Joseph.
Yeah.
And it worked out great for Joseph that Isan folded.
Oh, look at Isan.
Isan's like, look at all those chips. I
He's
see
so sad.
that all represents real money. I could have that money. Could buy a lot of Subway sandwiches.
Yeah, he loves Subway sandwiches. He talks about that.
That's not true. That's just my favorite denomination to use when speaking of poker.
Well, that may be, but it's also been an interesting and happy coincidence because, and when I say Subway sandwiches, which he loves, it's not that he likes buying sandwiches from Subway. He likes actually eating sandwiches while he's on a Subway.
Well, then why does he live in a city that doesn't have a Subway?
That's a question for another time.
okay.
A good question for another time. A lot of pocket pairs for Isan.
Yeah, but he's folding them all. Let's see if he plays this one. Looks like he's going to.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Pocket fives, come on.
All right, Ken, getting in there.
Dominated, but
Dan could
digital.
very well 3-bet here.
I like a 3-bet here. I think this is a good hand to 3-bet.
I agree.
Don't let everybody in. You block lots of stuff. You often have the best hand. Ken doesn't have much usually. on
Oh,
the flop.
gets
Wow.
Elwood out off the queen 10
Yeah.
suited. You don't want watermelon guy in there. You flop a watermelon and you're done.
And now Isan just kind of has to call.
Yeah.
It's pocket fives. He's gonna have to.
Math demands it.
Yeah. He doesn't have to like it.
Ken probably should fold, even
Yeah.
though he's getting a good price.
Well, at least he only lost $30 with that hand.
Yep. Hear a lot of revelry at another table over there somewhere.
Indeed.
And that's
Isan
a
checks.
without flopping a set. That's about as good as you can hope for with pocket fives.
You'd love to be, there's a 4 on the board as
Yeah.
well. But yeah, that's pretty darn good. You're right. Digital Dan going to continue, which I do like. I don't think it's going to work for 1-bet.
No, but he certainly has more of the big overpairs than Isan does.
Of course he
This
does.
is a big range advantage board for Dan.
Massively so. He would be betting all of them. Isan rates not to have a deuce almost ever.
As it stands, Isan can't fold yet. He does have backdoor straight draws. He does have the best hand some of the time,
It's also only $80. Digital Dan went super cheap.
which he has been doing in 3-bet pots.
Yep. Super cheap. Okay, nothing really changes with that card.
Shouldn't slow Dan down if he had aces or kings here,
No.
so he should continue.
Absolutely.
Isan has checked.
You're losing to pocket nines and, I guess, pocket trays.
We're
but
getting a
that's it.
good look at what Isan looks like after he checks,
It's good. He's
and
really
what Matt
thinking
Vaughan
about
looks
things.
like when he's sitting next to a guy who has checked.
Look at the studiousness of Matt Vaughan, though. Really paying attention. Joseph's on his phone doing Angry Birds, but Matt Vaughan's really in it.
And Dan does continue. I like that.
Yeah, me too.
I actually kind of like the sizing on the turn as well. He's saying you should stick around with your
Yeah.
pocket eights here. That would be great.
It looks, these fives would be in the muck already for me. It would have worked. I would have folded. Digital Dan, I guess he's got his bluffing shoes on a little bit. He tried to bluff Elwood at the end of last episode, which he went all in. We just usually don't see him make
He's
big
choosing
bluffs.
good boards. That happened
Yeah.
to be a really bad time because Elwood flopped the nuts, but he's
Yeah.
choosing boards where he has a clear range advantage.
Speaking of good boards, Isan says this board is good enough for my pocket fives. I'm hanging in there.
Dan's got to pull the trigger. The 4 is a
mean-
pretty good card for Dan also. I mean, Isan
Yeah.
has so many hands just like he has,
Right.
and Dan has so many aces, kings, queens in his range.
I mean, Dan's got to be sitting there thinking, are you really going to call me again with 2 10s here, 2 jacks here if I bomb it? At the same point, I'd be worried that he is.
I would like to overbet the pot if
I
I were
like
Dan
that.
because if I had
I like
aces, I
that.
think I would make it like 850, 900. I want to do the same thing here.
Yeah.
Saying like, okay,
Bet 1,000.
yeah.
Make it hard.
If
Make it-
Isan
make it
has pocket
painful.
nines or pocket fours, so be it. We got unlucky.
Yeah.
But This is a good spot for a bluff.
He doesn't have ace 5.
All right, Dan's going for it. Let's see how he
Yeah,
sizes
this is
it.
good.
He goes pretty small again.
How much is it?
It's 275 and a call.
Insta call.
He got
Insta call.
snapped.
Whoa. How much did he bet?
275.
That was pretty small.
Yeah.
Still, that's supposed to work. 2-5 should be good against nothing there. Dan really, I guess he's trying to not to overspend this time on his bluffs, but this time,
Well-
the big sizing probably would have worked better for him. Still, that's big time hero calling.
Yeah.
Nice hand. Nice hand, Hassan.
We've been saying that Zach Elwood is a tells expert. Maybe Isan's got a tell on
Yeah,
Dan.
maybe.
You know,
He
that
called
would,
so fast.
that would explain that.
I mean, you would think I would be in the tank at a minimum if I got there. If I made it to the river with those 2-5s, I'd be in a serious
I think
tank.
I'm either folding or check raising there.
On the river?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like check raising better than calling. Although, boy, it was perfect. Maybe he's got to read.
I think Dan did mess up the sizing on the river a little bit.
Yeah.
I like the sizing up until then. But then you would think you would go for missed value with your aces and kings there.
Also, you hope he has 10s or jacks
Yeah.
and bet an amount. Although the problem is, if you bet 1,000, 10s or jacks might fold, right?
They might, but I don't know.
I mean, if
If you're-
5's called,
If you can be relatively balanced, then it's fine.
yeah, fair enough.
Stewart's got a nice hand on the button here, and he's going to get some action.
Joseph calls as if he hates his hand, but that is just a lie.
Maybe he knows Stewart has ace-king.
Maybe. If he knows Stewart has ace king, get ready for Joseph to win this pot.
Well, this is a range advantage board for Joseph now.
Yeah. Let's see if Stewart decides to bet this. He does not. I like this check.
It's got enough showdown value. That's a great card for both players, really.
Yeah.
They both feel like they have the best hand a lot of the time, probably.
When Stewart checks back the flop, he's going to have a lot of ace highs, but I guess they're not usually as good as ace 10.
If it goes check on the river on a blankish card, which that is,
Yeah.
I'd like to see a thin value bet from Stewart.
Ace king.
He doesn't do it. I understand why not.
Yeah, I think it's fine to not go for value there.
Sometimes Joseph hit a 3, but really he doesn't have any other pair, right?
No, Joseph could have a 5 or a 4 and decide to check. And
3 times?
Yeah, he could be giving Stewart a chance to bluff.
I mean, when Stewart checks back twice, he has a lot of ace high, I guess.
Yeah.
I would expect a value bet from Joseph.
You
at
might
that
just
point.
be worried that you're never getting called.
Yeah, you might be.
So you like give him a chance to bluff, even though you figure it's not going to happen very much. I don't know how often that happens. I don't know how often Joseph's calling with his ace 10 either. I'm just not sure. I don't know what the profitable play there
Joseph
is.
puts on the cape every once in a while.
Puts on the cape. I
Yeah.
like how you say that. Puts on the cowl. That's the Batman
Oh,
thing.
okay. Well, that's
Dons the cowl.
it's a really good fact.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Isan folds quickly.
Isan has been crushing the game.
Digital Dan.
Do we have a new destroyer of worlds? Is that what's
Well,
happening?
It's a little early.
It's a little early to
He's been
declare.
running pretty hot. for
He's
the
been
most
running
part.
good. He's been making decisions that have been correct.
It's true. I mean, that pocket fives hand was pretty great.
He might have missed out on a little value with the kings against queens against Elwood. Not sure.
Maybe not. Maybe. It's hard to say.
All right. It looks like Matt Vaughan is 3-betting. He's tired of Brewer opening the button, which he has been doing a lot of.
Yes, he has.
And this is a huge 3-bet.
Brewer knows his hand is way too good to fold.
He's just wondering, am I willing to get it all in with this kid right now?
I think the answer is no.
Yeah, he's just going to call.
A call makes so much more sense than a
It
than
does.
a 4-bet.
It does. There's
Digital
Dan.
Dan really thinking about it.
He's like, look at that. Brewer has 9s, obviously. Well, that's not a flop Brewer wanted to see. Matt Vaughan has a really good chance to win this hand at this point, especially considering that he flopped a gut shot.
He was going to continue on an ace-high board no matter what, though, I got to believe. He's sitting there thinking, well, probably not going to get raised very often, so I can bet my gutter. Even if he has an ace, I'll have some equity and might fire. I'll probably fire again.
That's 120.
Blah, blah, blah.
He bets smaller than his pre-flop 3-bet, which I think on an ace-high board is probably the right thing to do here.
Yeah, I mean, what are you supposed to do as Brewer?
I think you have to call once
think
and
you're- yeah.
reevaluate.
I agree. Like, you have a bunch of other hands here, right, that are way worse than 9s. You got king, queen suited broadways.
He's just going to give it up, though. I think he's fearing of future bets.
Also, Matt Vaughan hasn't made any plays at him, or it really hasn't been 3-betting that much.
Right, and the big blind is kind of the strongest place to 3-bet out of. Like, it's so easy just to call.
Yeah.
Worked out well for Matt. That was nicely executed.
Indeed.
I liked his sizing pre-flop and on the flop.
Matt Vaughan. He doesn't just vlog.
He has a channel named after him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Matt, you should use that as your slogan whenever you actually watch this.
Yeah.
He has a channel named after him.
Although we all technically do if we have Google accounts of any type. That's your YouTube account also.
Is it?
Yep.
Well, congratulations, everyone.
You're all Matt Vaughan.
Not everyone has a Google account, by the way.
Yeah. If you email me with a Yahoo email address, though, I mean, I'm not going to respond.
Wow. Digital Dan, let's go the 6-5 suited. People are playing carefully in early position in this game. It all started in the very first hand. Zach Elwood just folded ace-queen under the gun. And
We haven't seen anything that tight since
No.
then.
no, we haven't.
Brewer with another reasonable hand in the cutoff. It looks like Brewer's just abusing late position and opens, but he's always had something reasonable.
Except that time he
Oh.
had queen 7 suited
Yeah.
and king deuce suited.
Those times are not. Okay, never mind.
Oh, the king deuce was an early, was like middle position.
I take it all back. I think
Here
it was hijack.
Here comes a 3-bet.
Yep.
And let's see how he sizes it.
Raised to 170.
170. That's good. That's consistent with his 140 when there was one player in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Brewer can call. I think Joseph could call or fold, depending on if he thinks Vaughn is light ever.
He will get to have position, which is good. Brewer might be considering a re-raise here. He just got 3-bet the last hand from Matt Vaughan, and maybe he's thinking, I have a blocker.
It would put Matt in a bad spot. What do you do with Ace King if Brewer makes it 450 here, 500?
I probably shove because of the late position and dynamic from the hand
Right,
before.
but you are very uncomfortable doing so.
I hate every moment of it, and I think, like, I hope he doesn't snap. We do block aces and kings. That part's good.
Joseph considering all options here. Decides on a fold. Probably the right move.
Not 145, man. 170.
Yeah, that's $30. So $35 call.
Yeah.
Aggression's interesting in No Limit because even though you can start 3-betting, and people don't like fighting back because it costs money.
Let's take a look at these standings here.
Look at Isan.
Isan is crushing right now.
Wow.
Digital Dan taking the brunt of it.
Yeah, we lost what 1,500 on the first big bluff he did.
Yeah.
So it's like, here's the thing.
But yeah, Isan's got pretty much all the money.
That's what it really felt like. But
Matt Vaughan is up about 750 from that lucky queen he hit against Elwood on early on.
Right. I would be doing way better.
Fold.
Nice hand for Joseph. Going to open it up. Looks like he's going with small sizing. Looks like 25 again.
Yeah, that's what he did last time too. At least he's being consistent.
Yeah, it's not indicative of hand strength. It looks like the Destroyer is interested after Isan folds. Got King 8 off.
Oh, that's an easy call for when you eat worlds as a snack.
It's an easy call no matter what. It's $15.
That too.
And he flops top pair. That's how you do it. Check. I imagine we'll see a check, and
Yep.
we do. That's a good card for Joseph.
Bet 60.
just like that, Ken. 9 on the turn, and you destroy my world. That 9 makes a lot of hands there.
Yeah, including your hand, Joseph.
Yeah, I mean, really only makes one other hand.
It's my hard drive.
I don't know about this bet.
125.
It's very questionable.
And Joseph just snaps instead of raising. Should have considered raising, maybe.
Nice speech on the turn.
Oh, it does take a lot of hands.
Sick.
That's one of them.
That's one of them, yeah.
That is one of the hands that gets made.
I love Joseph.